Good evening, PEP scholars. Welcome to another live PEP class. This evening, we're going to be doing another ability test. We're stocking up on the ability test sessions because we have the PEP ability test coming up later this month. So we're using all the opportunity to put in as many ability test sessions as we can. And these are brand new sample questions, so stay tuned. I'm going to play for you now the schedule of our live classes. So here you go. Hello CSEC math students, I know you are busy preparing for your math tests and your CSEC exams coming up. I have a very important question to ask you. Do you like my new hat? Thank you. Now another important question. Have you ever gotten a math problem wrong simply because of making one little mistake? I'm sure you have, as thousands of other students have. Now in this series, we're going to be looking at the common mistakes that students make with all the topics in CSEC Math. We're going to look at the common errors, demystify everything. Make sure you watch every video in this series so that you can avoid making those mistakes. So stay tuned. Hello scholars, did you know that most times when students get problems wrong in mathematics is as a result of one single error or one mistake? Well, this is absolutely true, and we're going to be looking at the common errors that students make in the different topics in mathematics. If we know the errors beforehand, we can certainly avoid making them. Are you ready? Come on, take my hand. All right, so welcome to everyone. And I really want to welcome all those who are joining us on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter, and wherever else you are. Welcome. I'm seeing the regulars already taking their place in the chat. I'm seeing Langot, I'm seeing Chrissy K. And in studio, I also have some scholars with me, and I'm going to be inviting them now. Cashmark also coming in, inviting them to join me on the screen. So let me see who's backstage. I have Amari, John, Jaden, Coleman.
Good evening, Miss and live classmates.
Miss and those on another platform.
You are welcome. Good evening. All right, so these are new items that we're going to go through. And let me share the screen and get right to it. All right, so we have PEP ability tests, and these are verbal reasoning questions prepared and presented by yours truly.
There's also somebody on the live class. There's still a space left.
Yes, as soon as someone else comes backstage, I'll let them join.
Oh, you're in the university.
All right. So for items 1 to 3, we are to select the word that best completes the statement. Amari, please read item 1.
Right. Okay, miss. Number 1. Oxygen is the animal as dash is the plant. Number 1. Oxygen is the animal as dash is the plant. A. Sunlight. B. Carbon dioxide. C. Garden soil. Or D. Pollen. A. Sunlight. B. Carbon dioxide. C. Garden soil. D. Pollen. Miss, I would say B.
What does
Miss,
B?
I would say B.
B what?
Oh, B. Carbon dioxide, miss.
Why do you say carbon dioxide? What's the connection?
Miss, because oxygen is the animal, but the plant gives the animal oxygen, while the animal gives the plant carbon dioxide, miss.
Right, so animals breathe in and utilize oxygen,
Yes, miss.
and whereas
And
plants utilize carbon dioxide. All right, and everybody seems to agree on this one.
let's
Madison
listen to solid
says
as
carbon dioxide. Coleman, hash marks. John is saying carbon dioxide. All right, John, the second question is yours.
Okay, number 2. Ice is the solid as steam is the A liquid, B fire, C gas, D atmosphere. Number 2. Ice is the solid as steam is the A liquid, B fire, C gas, D atmosphere. Miss, I would say C gas.
What's the connection?
Miss, the connection is that, miss, for liquid, miss, you can, miss, liquid, you can put it in the freezer, miss, and turn solid. And steam is a type of gas, miss. Same matter. Miss, they both matter.
All right, so the ice is solid water,
Miss,
and the steam is gaseous water or water vapor. All right. Oh, I'm not. Okay, hold on. So that is C, and for this question it was B, carbon dioxide. Jaden, number 3.
Okay, miss. Number 3. Jamaica is the tropical as dash is the temperate. Number 3. Jamaica is the tropical as dash is the temperate. A. Japan. B. Cuba. A. Japan. B. Cuba. C. Siberia. Or D. Antarctica. A. Japan. B. Cuba. C. Siberia. Or D. Antarctica. Miss, I have A. Japan because Japan is in the temperate zone. Cuba is in the tropical zone with Jamaica, and Siberia and Antarctica are in the polar zones.
All right, that is correct. All right, so that's A, Japan. Madison, K, and Cashmark also saying A, Japan. All right, so Jaden is saying Jamaica is a tropical land. It's actually a tropical island. And so we want a country that's in the temperate zone. And the only country that's in the temperate zone is Japan. Right, so Jaden says Cuba is tropical just like Jamaica. Siberia and Antarctica are polar. Siberia is in the North Polar Zone. Antarctica is in the South Polar Zone. For items 4 to 6, we are to identify the option that does not belong to the group. Does not belong. Right, so for items 4, 5, and 6, we are to identify the option that does not belong. Coleman, question 4, please. Coleman. I think we lost Coleman. All right, so let me welcome Madison. Good evening, Madison.
Hello, Miss. Can you hear me?
I'm hearing you. Can you read question 4, please?
Good evening, Miss. Sure.
Good
Number
evening.
4, A. Evaporation. B. Condensation. C. Decomposition. D. Precipitation. Number 4, A. Evaporation. B. Condensation. C. Decomposition. Or D. Precipitation. Miss, what was the question that I had gotten up from my sleep?
Okay, so for this set of questions, we are to identify the option that does not belong to the group.
Okay, Miss. I say decomposition because all the others are in the water cycle and decomposition is not in the water cycle.
All right. Do you know what decomposition is?
Yes, Miss. I don't know. I don't really know how to explain it, but it's when like animals, dead animals decompose.
All right. So you're using about the same word to define the word, which you want to avoid doing that.
Or miss like when they rot or when
Mhm.
um the animal, I don't know what to call them, in the ground, like eat the animal.
Okay. So decomposition is a process of rotting. So all living things, when they die, they go through decomposition. It's a change of matter, so it's like it's returning it to nature so it can be recycled, right? So the bacteria, the fungi help to break down the components of the living matter and return it so it can be used again. All right. I would like anyone to explain the other 3 processes. So Madison says all the other 3 processes are part of the water cycle: evaporation, condensation, precipitation. Would anybody like to explain for me what evaporation is? Just indicate and let me.
Means it's when water is turned into gas by the heat of the sun.
All right. So in the water cycle, the change of state from liquid water to water vapor or gas, triggered by the heating effect of the sun, that is evaporation. How about condensation? Who wants to explain what condensation is? Anybody?
Means it's when condensation is when water vapor is water vapor is cooled and turns into normal liquid water. Cools and de-evaporates into it condenses into the
Okay.
water.
All right. So I'll tell you the same thing I told Madison. Don't use the same word to define the word. So you started off right. In the atmosphere, the water vapor, when it gets to a certain point, a certain height, it cools and it changes back to liquid. And Cashmark is also saying water is turned into clouds, right? So during the condensation process, clouds are formed when the water vapor is also going to combine with particles in the air, dust particles and other particles floating about the air. Actually, they are what the vapor condenses, uses as a point to condense, and that's how clouds are formed. How about precipitation? What is precipitation? All right, so any kind of moisture that falls from the sky, let's put it that way. Any kind of moisture that falls from the sky is precipitation. From fog to sleet, snow, hail, rain, anything like that is called precipitation. All right, so that was Madison's question. So now I'm going to ask Rihanna to read question 5, and it's the same instruction. We're trying to identify which one is different from the others. Rihanna? Rihanna got kicked off, it seems. All right, so I'm going to see if Coleman is still there. Coleman is back. Are you back with us, Coleman?
Yes, Miss.
All right, can you read question 5, please?
5. A. Students. B. Army. C. Congregation. And D. Jury.
Again.
5. A. Students. B. Army. C. Congregation. And D. Jury.
All right, so which one would you say is different?
Oh, different. I think I would say students.
All right, why do you think students is different from the others?
Because students, I think it's because students are still learning, but being in the army would be a job. I think in the jury, okay, I'm just totally lost.
Yeah, I'm thinking people learn in the army. People learn a lot every day from their experience in the army. Cashmark is also saying students. Nia is saying students. I would love if you scholars would give me the reason. Type your answer. Why are you saying students is the one that is different? Madison says students. You want to tell me why, Madison? Madison says she doesn't know. She just know that it's students. All right. Let me see.
I don't
Haley
know.
says Haley says it's because being a student isn't an occupation. You know, I tell my students all the time, your occupation is student. You can ask my students all the time. I'm telling them that's your job. That's your full-time job right now. That's your occupation.
Yes.
Student. All right. So the thing is, let me see if anybody else is getting. Cashmark says the rest is for war, student is to school. So you're saying everybody else here goes to war, the jury, the congregation. What is a jury?
Miss, I changed my answer.
But tell me first, what's a jury?
Miss, the people who watch like when there's like a court trial,
Okay.
they
All
watch
right. So
and
the jury is a set of persons who have been selected to sit and listen in to a court case, and they're actually going to be the ones to help decide whether the person is guilty or innocent. And what's a congregation?
Miss, it's the people who watch like the pastor or listen to the pastor
All
at
right, so they attend church, they sit and they listen to the sermon. And we all know what an army is. Am I right in assuming that?
yes. Miss, can I say
Okay.
my answer?
Go ahead, Madison.
I would say army because the rest they're all like watching or looking at someone or listening to someone. like the jury, the congregation, and the students. The students listen to their teacher, or they watch what their teacher is doing. The congregation, they listen to the pastor or the sermon, and the jury, they listen to the judge and they watch the trial go on. But the army, they don't watch anybody. They like
You're
go out
saying
and fight.
soldiers don't sit in the trench and watch all day long, watch the enemy?
Oh, miss, well, I didn't think of that. I was thinking
All
like they
right.
look at one person or
All
they're
right. So
focused on one person.
Michaela is saying the congregation is a group of people gathered for worship, and she's correct. Nia says because all the rest are groups of things, people, and students are not a group of things, people. Well, it's not correct to say that they're not a group. They are a group, but it's not a collective noun. That's the reason why students is different. Students refers to a group of people, but um, it's a plural noun. It takes an S. The other three are collective nouns, even by themselves here without the S at the end. They refer to a group of people. It's a collection of people. So an army is a group of soldiers. The jury is a select group of persons who are going to determine the outcome of a court case. A congregation is a group of persons listening to a sermon, but they take singular verbs most times because they are collective nouns. The only time, and this is an exception to the rule, the only time they might take a plural noun is if the group is acting with each individual doing an action on his or her own. But for the majority of times, when these words are used, they move as a collective group and it's a singular noun. Students is a group of persons, but it takes a plural noun because each one is considered separate and apart. All right, so Coleman had read that one. Am I correct? So it's now time for Amari to read question 6. And we're looking for the one that is different. Amari, are you there?
Sorry, miss, my
Why am I?
mic wasn't turning on. Miss.
Oh, I
Sorry, miss,
thought
my
you got
mic
it.
wasn't turning on.
Okay.
Number 6. A bellow. Number 6A. Bellow. B. Neigh. C. Bray. D. Stampede. Number 6. A. Bellow. B. Neigh. C. Bray. D. Stampede.
All right. Which one is different?
Miss, I would say a stampede is different.
Why?
Miss, because all of Miss Neigh is a sound. Miss Neigh is the sound of a horse. Miss, all
Mm-hmm.
of Miss from A to C. Miss, there sounds of different animals. But a stampede,
Mm-hmm.
Miss, is it's different because it's when like for example, bulls go blazing down the desert, Miss.
Okay. Which animal bellows? Which animal bellows? Madison says a cow. All right. So cows or oxen bellow, and you said a horse neighs,
Yes, ma'am.
and which animal brays?
Is donkeys?
The donkeys bray.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So all of the first three are sounds made by animals, and Amari is saying the stampede, while it is a very loud sound, it's not coming from
Like
the
any animal,
the
like the ball.
voice of the animal. Is actually the sound of the hooves or the feet.
Yes.
Running very hard together, that's a stampede. For items 7 to 9, we are to identify the most suitable word to complete each sentence. Right? For items 7 to 9, we are to identify the most suitable word to complete each sentence. All right, John, could you do question 7, please?
Okay, Miss. Number 7. Prince Dunbarton was the dash to the throne and was being prepared to rule the monarchy. The monarchy. Number 7. Prince Dunbarton was the dash to the throne and he was being prepared to rule the monarchy. A here, B here, C here.
John, you know that you're
Miss.
gonna have to spell them, John, because they all
Uh,
sound same.
okay, Miss. A here, HEIR. B here, HARE. C here, HERE. D here, HAIR. A here, HEIR. B here, HARE. C here, HERE. D here, HAIR. Miss, I would say A, HEIR. Miss, the second one, Miss, here, that's an animal.
All
This,
right, so
Miss,
you're saying the HARE is the animal, the hare,
Miss,
similar to the rabbit,
Miss,
and
Miss,
HERE is what?
Miss is when you indicating that something is here, Miss, here.
Okay,
Miss, like
at
back
this
to the
spot,
practice.
right here,
Miss, when the
and
here
the
is the here in your head.
HAIR,
Miss, the here in your head.
that's the hair on your head. So what
Miss,
is the HEIR? What does that one mean?
Miss, it means you're the one to inherit something, Miss. Like, for example,
That's exactly what I was gonna say. The person to inherit something.
All right, so that's correct. So Prince Dunbarton was the heir to the throne and he was being prepared to rule the monarchy. So he's going to inherit the throne, presumably from his father, the king. Jaden, question 8.
Okay, miss. Number 8. Did the students inform you that Dash having issues with their language assignments? Number 8. Did the students inform you that Dash having issues with the language assignments? A there in THERE. B there in THEIR. C there in THEYRE. And D, they in THEY.
Again, please.
Um, A there as in THERE, B there as in THEIR, C there as in THEYRE, and they.
Okay, so
D.
did the students inform you that Dash having issues with the language assignment? Which one of those words?
I would say A there.
That
No,
there.
miss, I changed my mind. B there, as in THEIR.
All right, so THERE, which there is that. This is the place over there, in that place. The THEIR is when something belongs to them, their hat, their bag, their problem. THEY apostrophe RE is when you're breaking up the two words, they are. So it's a contraction They are becomes there, and then they means those people. So the correct one then, Jaden, is not B but C, because we could put in, did the students inform you that they are having issues with the language assignments? Did the students inform you that they're, which is a contraction for they are, having issues with their language assignment? All right, and Nia had their THEY apostrophe RE, so did Madison. All right, and Coleman as well. So now let me check if anybody else is backstage. I have, I'm gonna try and see if these students are here. All right, so for the time being, I'm going to ask John, Amari, Jaden. And let me see if I can get Kayan. Good evening, Kayan. Kayan, good evening. All right, Kayan isn't there. Michaela.
Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening, Michaela. And let me see if Jer is there. Good evening, Jer. Jer, good evening. All right, so Jer isn't there either. So I can allow Jaden to come back. All right. All right, so we have Madison, Jaden, and Michaela and Coleman. So Michaela, I'm going to ask you to read question 9 for me. Twice, please. And remember, we're looking for the one that is most suitable to complete. Go ahead, Michaela. Seems like Michaela is having issues. Jaden, can you please read question 9?
Okay, miss. Number 9. We need more flour to make. We needed more flour and baking powder for the dash and donut was sent to purchase them.
Purchase.
Number 9. We needed more flour. We needed more flour and baking powder for the dash and donut we sent to purchase them. A do as in do, B dough as in dough, C though as in though, or though, or D though as in thou. A dough as in do, B dough as
Sorry,
in
how do you pronounce
dou.
that, Jaden? D-O?
Is it do?
Do.
Do.
Mm-hmm.
A do as in do, B do as in doughgh, C though as in thouugh, and D though as in thou.
All right. So what say you for this one? We needed more flour and baking powder for the dash. And
Miss
donut was
dough,
which letter?
B dough, B dough as in
Dough.
B dough,
And
D
what is this dough?
as in like the stuff that they use to make bread is like the batter form of bread.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's the right wording, but
Right. It's when you knead when you need the bread, flour, usually flour, water, salt,
Yes, miss. You use flour, water, and all of
basic,
those.
right, basic ingredients, and then you press it and squeeze it and knead it to get a certain consistency. All right, and we also do is the verb to do, and though means even if, right? Even so. Thou is an archaic way of referring to you. We call it Bible language. It's an archaic way of talking. So for items 10 to 12, for items 10 to 12, we are to select the word that is a necessary component of the one in bold type. Select the word that is a necessary component of the one in bold type. What do we mean by necessary component? What's that, guys? What do these words mean? Necessary component.
Miss, it means that you must have that thing for it to be like in number 10, it says soup. It must be there for it to be soup, or it can't be soup without that thing.
Okay. All right. So a component is a part of a whole, right? It's something that's added to other things to make a whole. And we know the word necessary means you must have it. It is essential. So this type of ability test question is the essential part or the essential component type question. So as Madison said, we are to identify which of the options you must have in order for the word that is highlighted to exist. So Madison, you're doing number 10.
10. Soup. A. Dumplings. B. Broth. C. Potatoes. Or D. Beans. 10. Soup. A. Dumplings. B. Broth. C. Potatoes. Or D. Beans. I say B. Broth.
What is broth?
Um, Miss, I'm not sure how to explain because I've never like seen it.
But how do you know that that's what we need to have for soup?
Miss, because I hear it a lot, like when people are cooking soup, but I don't really know what it is.
Okay. By the way, have you guys, this reminds me of an old saying. When I used to go to school, we used to study idioms, and these are old sayings. And one of them was, too many cooks spoil the broth. Too many cooks spoil the broth. Have you ever heard of that old saying?
No, Miss.
No, miss.
Oh gosh, you guys make me feel so
No,
archaic.
miss.
Like I'm from the ancient days. Too many cooks spoil the broth. So what do you think it means though? Not the literal meaning, but what lesson do you think we can learn from that?
I think it means that if you have too many things isn't good.
All right. So if you're involved in too many things, your attention will be too scattered, and so you won't be able to focus on any one thing and do well at any one thing, as well as um, if you allow too many persons to interfere in your life, to if you get advice from too many different persons, you're going to confuse yourself. All right, so can someone
There's a saying that my dad one or my mom told me about. It's
go ahead?
something like this. So The dog has too many masters.
Oh,
So
yes,
it,
I
so,
know.
so he
I
tries
know
to
which
go to
one.
each master, but he can't get a bone because he has to go to the other master and the
Yes, right. So in Jamaica, we said, how you go now? Dog will have too much yard, not get no dinner. That's so we say.
I think it's
Dog,
something close to that, but
yeah.
um,
It's along the same lines. Dog will have too much yard, not get no dinner. Um, so sometimes we have to just focus in on the important things and not scatter our interests and not scatter our focus. So I'm still waiting for someone to tell me what is broth. Madison is correct. The answer is correct. She's saying in order to have soup, we must have broth. But I'm looking for a definition. Can someone give me a definition? You can do a quick search. All right. So Michaela says the broth is soup consisting of meat or vegetables cooked in stock, sometimes thickened with barley or other cereals. All right. So that's thank you, Michaela. And that is what broth is. Is the base for the soup, right? It's the base, and it's water with things boiled into the water for a little time. People put different things. You can have different kinds of broth, right? You can have a meat base or a vegetable base, but that is the basic um thing that you start off the soup with, and then you add whatever else you want for your soup. Soup is one of those things, it's so unique. Each person makes the soup to their taste. All right, so that was Madison. Coleman, can you read question 11, please?
fire. It number 11. Fire. A candle, B oxygen, C darkness, and D electricity.
Two
Number
times a
11.
charm.
Number 11. Fire. A candle, B oxygen, C darkness, D electricity.
So we're looking for which one of these do we have to have. Which one of these is a necessary component for fire to take place?
Miss B
I
oxygen.
Hold on, it's Coleman's. So the person who reads gets the first chance.
Yes,
I
miss.
actually agree because I've watched enough TV and know that it's oxygen you
All
need.
right. So why we need oxygen, Coleman?
Be- because without oxygen, the fire will out.
Okay. So Coleman says he watches enough TV to know. that's a that's a cute way of saying it. He says I watch enough TV to know that fires need oxygen in order to keep burning. All right. And Jaden is saying he agrees with that. All right, so that is correct. In order for the fire to even start and also to keep going, we need to have oxygen. We also need to have a fuel source, and we need to have some kind of heat. Otherwise, the fire will go out. So that's oxygen. We definitely don't need a candle to start a fire. Definitely don't need darkness to start a fire. Or electricity. Electricity can start fires, but it's not a necessity for all fires. That's specifically an electrical fire. Amari, please read question 12.
Question 12. Sound. A. Bells. B. Drums. C. Voices. D. Vibrations. Number 12. Sound. A. Bells. B. Drums. C. Voices. D. Vibrations.
What must we have for sound to be
Miss,
produced?
Miss, what did you say?
I'm asking Amari. Which one of those is a necessary component for sound to be produced?
Miss, I would say B, vibrations.
And what are vibrations? You can explain in your own word, or if you want to give me a definition from a source, what a vibration is.
Okay, Miss.
Miss, may I explain what a vibration is?
Yes, you may, Madison.
Okay, so it's basically when an object moves back and forth so quickly and it changes the air, like the air starts to move back and forth as well with the
Mhm.
object, causing a vibration.
Correct. That's correct. And in order for sound to be produced, we must have vibration in the air caused by some trigger.
Miss,
Did you
you know,
find? Go ahead, Madison.
the only reason why I remember that is because my science teacher, she did a project, like she did an experiment on that, and she ran her tuning fork on the table and she put it at all of our ears, and it was so loud for us to see that the vibration it makes a sound.
Right. So, and that's the best way to learn by actually experiencing the thing. So you see, you remember it, you made a statement, you think that's the only reason you remember it is because you actually experienced it. So we have to try as much as possible to allow students to experience these things and so they will remember. Amari, had you looked for a definition or not?
Miss, I thought Madison was going to answer it, so I didn't look for a definition.
All right. Okay, so the last set of verbal reasoning questions for tonight, for items 13 to 15, we are to select the word that does not belong to the group. For items 13 to 15, we are to select the word that does not belong to the group. And it's John's turn.
The one that looks like an owl.
John,
Okay, thanks. Number 13. A piglet, B, fowl, C, chicken, D, hen. Number 13. A piglet, B, fowl, C, chicken, D, hen. Miss, I would say D, hen because Miss, others are babies.
all right. So John is saying the hen is an adult. So what's a hen? An adult what? What
Miss,
kind of
adult
animal?
chicken. Miss,
Miss, a hen
adult,
is an adult female chicken. A hen is
Female
an adult
chicken.
female
All
chicken.
right.
Miss,
So an adult female chicken. And what's the piglet?
A
What's the
baby
pig?
pig.
a baby chick.
Baby
Chicken.
pig. And
Right.
what's the fowl?
Mr. Fall is a Miss is a baby horse.
Baby horse. And the kitten?
Mr. Baby. Cat. Whatever.
Baby cat. All right. So all the first three are all babies, but the hen is an adult. So what would be the baby hen?
Miss, Miss a chick.
A chick. Okay. Or a hatchling. All right, Jaden, question 14.
Number 14. A, loam. B, sediment. C, metamorphic. Or
Sedimentary.
D, metamorphic. And D, igneous. Number 14. A, loam. B, sedimentary. C, metamorphic. And or D, igneous. Miss, I have A, loam, because loam is in a type, it is a category that a rock can be under.
No. Are you saying it is?
No, miss, it isn't.
Or you're saying it isn't? Okay. So you're saying the other three are categories of rock,
Yes, miss.
and loam is what?
Loam is either a type of soil or something that can be in soil that purifies the
It's a
soil so
type
that
of
nutrients
soil.
and
It's a type of soil.
it's a type of soil.
Yes. So we have sand, clay, and loam. All right. So does anyone want to explain for me what the sedimentary rock is? So Jaden is saying the other three are types of rock. Who can explain what the sedimentary rock is? Anyone? All right, so let me.
Miss
Okay.
Loam, Miss Loam, Miss Loam.
Yes, John, we have identified that loam is the one that's different. So what we're doing now, so loam is a type of soil, and Jaden is saying the other three are types of rock.
Yes.
So can you tell me, John, what is the sedimentary rock?
It's the sedimentary.
All right, so I'm getting an answer. Kiana is saying sedimentary rocks are types of rock that are formed by the accumulation or deposition of mineral or organic particles at Earth's surface, followed by cementation. Sedimentary rocks are types of rock that are formed by the accumulation or deposition of mineral or organic particles at Earth's surface, followed by cementation. And that is correct. So sediment particles accumulate in layers over time, and we're talking about thousands or millions of years. And so they are formed in layers, and sometimes you can have fossils embedded in them as animals die and are covered and pressed down through the pressure of the overlaying rock. All right, how about the metamorphic rock? What are metamorphic rocks? The word metamorphosis means change. When butterflies become caterpillars, they go through a metamorphosis, a complete change of state, complete change of condition. Kiana again is saying metamorphic rocks started out as some other type of rock but have been substantially changed from the original igneous sedimentary or earlier metamorphic form. So Madam Kiana is giving us the definitions tonight. She's saying metamorphic rocks started out as some other type of rock but have been substantially changed from their original igneous sedimentary or earlier metamorphic rock. All right, and you know I'm going to ask you about the last one, the
Miss
igneous.
D, igneous rocks are, well, okay, I just said it, but in man words, igneous rocks are rocks that are formed from cooling lava or magma. When the magma or lava cools, it forms that type of rock, and that
Mhm.
rock is called an igneous rock.
Correct. And you can use the root of it to ignite. To ignite means to set fire to. Igneous rocks are formed from fire, from volcanic activity. All right. Thank you all. Thank you, Jaden. Thank you, Michaela. Thank you, Kian. Okay, so let me read Michaela's definition. Igneous rocks, from the Latin word for fire, form when hot molten rock crystallizes and solidifies. The melt originates deep within the earth near active plate boundaries or hot spots, then rise towards the surface. And Kiana says igneous rocks form when hot molten rock crystallizes and solidifies. Thank you, scholars. Thank you for your definitions. The last question goes to Madam Madison. Question 15.
Miss, it's not loaded yet.
Can
But
you
I'm
not
going to.
see it? I can see it.
I can't see it. I don't
The
have
it's
on my glasses, so I can't see.
it's A
Hold
analyze,
on.
B
Hold on. Hold
critique.
on. Give it a second. Let's see if it loads for you, Madison.
Okay, Miss, I can see it now.
All right.
15. A. Analyze. B. Critique. C. Ignore. Or D. Examine. 15. A. Analyze. B. Critique. C. Ignore. Or D. Examine.
So we're looking for the one that's different.
Miss, I say C. Ignore because all the others they're looking at something, um, or they're looking at something closely, and ignore you're not even looking at it at all.
All right. And that's correct. Michaela, Keanu, Nia all say ignore. All right. So Michaela says because A and B and D all mean when you pay attention to something, while ignore means when you don't pay attention. All right. So that one was a giveaway then, wasn't it? Yeah, because
Is it real was?
yeah, that one was a giveaway. All right. Well, it's good to end on with a giveaway. All right. So tomorrow being Ash Wednesday, we will not have any class. We're gonna take a little break, but we'll be right back on Thursday with our usual hardcore examination of these types of questions. So on when we come back on Thursday, we're going to have our critical thinking skills class, and then on Friday, our curriculum based tests. Okay, so I'm going to see my scholars on Thursday. As usual, I really want to thank you for staying with me, keeping me company. You are excellent company. It's good to be in the presence of brilliance. And I really appreciate your company, your participation. All right. So, as
Bye,
usual,
Miss.
I'm going straight
Bye,
into my CSEC
classmates.
class now. Yes. So, I'll
Goodbye,
see
Miss.
you,
And
scholars, on
goodbye, other life classmates.
Bye,
goodbye,
Miss. Bye, Miss.
Joanne.
Bye.
Bye, John. Bye, Amari.
Oh,
Bye,
wait, Miss. Why am
Madison.
I saying bye if I'm going to be in the secret class?
Well, you're saying bye for the PEP session, and then you're going to come back for the C6 session.
You're saying bye
These are
to
secret.
those who are going to be in the PEP and not going to be in the CSEC.
Yes, I used to say. Oh wait, Coleman, are you going to be in the thing, in the live show, in the
In
C-sec
the PEP,
class?
Sometimes he sits in just to see what's going on with.
I don't really know. Last week I had a big exam. I think I would prefer taking the break. And I
Oh,
and I actually had an exam yesterday because we couldn't do it on Friday due to Jamaica Day. So I
okay.
think I'll take my break.
Say hi and bye, John. Say hi and bye. Bye.
Bye,
All
Miss.
right.
Bye,
Okay,
everybody.
bye. See you
Bye,
tomorrow. See
Coleman.
you
Bye,
Thursday.
everyone.
See
See you
everyone
next.
Thursday. Oh, and I'm sad, and I'm sorry, Ambria hasn't been able to join for the last few days.
Oh, is she okay?
Yes, she is. I just don't know why she hasn't joined. I
Oh,
haven't
maybe she's busy. Hopefully,
probably.
we'll see her soon.
Okay.
All
On
right.
see you on Thursday.
Yeah, bye. All right, scholars, here's our schedule of classes. Remember to write these down. All right. And Langot is giving everybody elbow bump. Elbow bump to you, Langot. CSEC math students, I know you are busy preparing for your math tests and your CSEC exams coming up. I have a very important question to ask you. Do you like my new hat? Thank you. Now, another important question. Have you ever gotten a math problem wrong simply because of making one little mistake? I'm sure you have, as thousands of other students have. Now, in this series, we're going to be looking at the common mistakes that students make with all the topics in CSEC Math. We're going to look at the common errors, demystify everything. Make sure you watch every video in this series so that you can avoid making those mistakes. So, stay tuned. Hello scholars, did you know that most times when students get problems wrong in mathematics is as a result of one single error or one mistake? Well, this is absolutely true, and we're going to be looking at the common errors that students make in the different topics in mathematics. If we know the errors beforehand, we can certainly avoid making them. Are you ready? Come on, take my hand.